everybody. It is day 3 of my 30-day carnivore challenge. So a couple quick updates from my first couple days. So the first day I felt kind of tired, but I knew that I didn't really have good sleep to begin with. And yesterday I was feeling a little bit better. For breakfast, I've been having salmon this is the 3rd time in a row, and honestly, I do miss and look forward to eating eggs again, but honestly, I can't complain eating salmon fillets for breakfast. It looks small, but there's a lot of nutrition in salmon, and it's very delicious and actually pretty filling. So I'd say that if you're thinking about what kind of breakfast foods and you can't eat eggs or aren't eating pork or anything, wild-caught salmon fillets are actually really good for breakfast. So new breakfast food up in here. So yeah, another update is that I basically lost all my water weight and am almost back down to what I know is my baseline weight right now, which is around 129. I weighed myself this morning and I was 129.6 pounds. And of course, a few days ago after the holidays when I weighed myself, I was 133. And I'm usually around, or have been around, 130 for the past few days. So I know that's all like holiday water weight, and a little bit of extra. But that's, you know, that's what like keto carnivore does for you. It can help you lose that really fast, and then you can get started on, you know, actually losing fat relatively quickly. So that's a huge benefit. You know, I've been drinking a lot of mineral water, and then I was drinking so much mineral water, and then I went to like taste the water at work. We have like this water barrel kind of thing, and it comes out of this little machine, and I tasted that and I was like, ooh, no, it's not good. You can taste the impurities in the water, which is unfortunate. Like, I already knew that it wasn't like high quality water, but it's really unfortunate like when you actually taste it and you're like, I can't drink this anymore. So like the first day I was like supplementing with that terrible water, but like then I tried to drink it yesterday and I just couldn't. So it's not a problem because it's obviously not good if it has those impurities in it, but it's, you know, it's more expensive. I'm gonna have to go out and get more mineral water because I don't have a system on my sink. So it goes. What are you gonna do? I'll just have to drink even more high quality water. So I think those are the major updates from my first 3 days. I don't feel that much different than what I was already doing before, like keto. The other thing is today is a very lovely day. Like, it's gonna be really nice outside. It's been a very mild winter, so although we can't really go sunbathing, we are gonna go out and get some fresh air and go on the nature trail. Our apartment is actually like really nice. It's on the edge of town, and we have a nature trail over here, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get some fresh air and go for a little hike. I'm gonna eat this delicious salmon fillet, yeah. And we are gonna go for a walk. Now, it is a little bit windier than I thought that it was gonna be, but the wind is from the south, so it's moderately, well, it's not warm, but at least it's not cold. It's just kind of windy, but that's okay, because walking is good. Getting some fresh, brisk air is good. It's only like 45 degrees or so outside, so that's not too bad for a winter in Nebraska, and hey, it's sunny, so not too bad at all. You know, it's not too bad living out here when you have access to a nature trail, and honestly, I need to use it more often. It's really sad that it's like, it's right here and then I don't go outside. This morning, for instance, like I said in my previous video that I wasn't going to like work out very hard. I'm just gonna continue my workout routine, but I understand, kind of like when I went keto for the many months ago. Oh, this is kind of muddy. We'll be okay. We got these cute little boots on, so we're not as scared of the mud. No. I wasn't gonna do like hardcore workout, so this morning I didn't even go to the gym. I just did some stretching and yoga and some push-ups and sit-ups, and just tried to keep it like super low-key, so I didn't go like lift any weights. I'm not going for a jog instead of going for this nature walk, and I think that's gonna suit me just fine. I made the mistake of like telling my family and telling a coworker that like, oh, I'm doing this, which I guess, you know, especially family members, like, probably shouldn't tell them that you're eating weird, because everyone gets concerned. They think you're gonna roll over and die, that you're lacking nutrients. But you know, when you've done hours and hours of research into like what is actually a healthy diet, what is actually a healthy lifestyle, and you realize that everything that you've been taught is kind of just a lie, that cholesterol is actually good for you, that you know, the vitamins are stored in the fat of the animal, and so it's important to eat high quality animal foods with high fat. Like, all of that is super critical, that like moderate protein is good, but that carbohydrates are actually the cause of all of our degenerative diseases in modern society. They don't understand that a proper human diet, the cornerstone of it is nutrient density. Oh Lord, we're really getting muddy now. Whew. Okay. It's so hard because people believe the conventional wisdom that fruits and vegetables are healthy for you, to eat your whole grains and all of this stuff because it's heart healthy, but there's really no correlation between grains, fiber, and your heart health. There's none whatsoever. Those things are not related. And when you look at the mechanisms in your body, it doesn't make any sense. And when you think about our ancestral diet, like, well, like, just look at the Plains natives, the First Nation people of the area that I live in Nebraska, and what they ate. Like 80% of their calories came from bison. They ate the entire animal and used the rest of it. Like, that's what getting to the root of nature is. Like, that's what it means to be an animal on this planet, eating our natural diet. Again, I was very skeptical of all of this stuff last year, because I thought that I knew what science and evidence-based nutrition looked like, but now I realize that those scientific studies are based off of something called a cohort study, and other sciences don't really take cohort studies seriously. So whenever you have like a minimal finding from a cohort study and you say, oh, see, it supports my finding, it's like, no, it doesn't. There's no causation, and there's not even a correlation between these factors, and it gets complicated with nutrition science, where it's not really a science anymore, it's like alchemy. But when you look at the actual mechanisms of our biology, then it makes sense, like what foods we should be eating to be optimally healthy. And unfortunately for the masses and these people who think they know what they're talking about, it's not fruits and vegetables and grains. And also, you know, too many vegetables, if you don't have nutritious animal products in your diet, you're not gonna get any nutrition from that. And people believe this. Like, I see people eating lots of greens and thinking that they're getting all their nutrients in, but they aren't, and they eat lean chicken. And that's just really sad, because first of all, it doesn't taste good. Like, let's all agree that that doesn't taste good, and there's a reason why it doesn't taste good, and that's because our bodies evolved a taste detector. We crave cholesterol, we crave fat. That's why fat tastes so good to us. It's because we need like 70 to 80% fat in our diet and 20% protein to have the necessary building blocks to be a healthy person. So obviously, if you're keto, if you're carnivore, you get all this. This is old news to you, but most people don't know this. And they just believe what the government tells them. They just believe what these companies, paid interest groups, tell them, because no one's gonna dig into the scientific literature and realize that these scientists from like over a century of scientific research was discarded by like really terrible scientists who were close-minded and just wanted to make sure that their theory was proven, even though their hypothesis was proven, even though there's no evidence for a cholesterol hypothesis whatsoever. Like, it keeps getting disproven over and over and over again. But then these other scientists were like, hey, carbohydrates cause all of these dietary diseases or degenerative diseases, not fat. But nobody wanted to listen to that. It was already too late, even though that was a common wisdom before Ansel Keys came along with his really terrible studies. So all that is to say is, like, it's just really frustrating that people believe this, and I really wish that people would open their minds like I did. I was still critical, you know, like, you should always be critical, you should always be skeptical of everything, but you should also be open-minded enough to realize that you might be wrong. So this is my confession that my 10 years of vegetarianism was wrong. And most people have to learn the hard way. We don't realize that we're that we were lied to until we're already facing the consequences of that lifestyle, of that diet. So I just want to help people not make the same mistake that I did, because now I'm gonna have to heal from that. So we made it to the Babbling Brook, which, you know, is kind of scenic, not nearly as scenic as it is in the summertime, but we'll chill here for a couple seconds. I've been walking for about 15 minutes. So I did want to talk about some of the things that, like, we know are healthy for us, but don't do, and then also something that is kind of lost wisdom. So I was under the weather. I was kind of sick a couple months ago. I was recovering, but I decided, you know what I really need to do is go and lay outside on the ground. So 3 things here. First of all, clearly, like, fresh air is good for you. Like, just being outside in general is good for you. That's where human beings like to be, surrounded by green things. Secondly, sunlight is good. It was still the fall. It was still like kind of midday, so I was able to soak up a little bit of the sun's rays. I was out there, skin exposed, and it felt really good to have the sun on my skin. The third thing is being on the ground. So there's a negative charge in the earth that counteracts the positive charge in the air, and usually human beings are positively charged, and that can cause oxidative stress, which if you're familiar can, you know, disrupt things in the body and cause cancer and other things like that. So you don't want oxidative stress. But what a negative charge does being on the ground is it can bring the negative charge to your body. That's like an oversimplification of it, but it does work. I've seen people do it. I was very skeptical of it first myself, but then, you know, sitting outside in the sun, I actually felt amazing, and it made me feel better almost immediately. So I think it's so important to get sunlight, to be on the earth. Like, this is ancient wisdom from First Nation people, that you need to be rooted in the ground. You need to get that sunlight. You need to get a healthy diet. So my battery was about to die on the bridge. I think that it started to die a little early because it was kind of chilly out. So just a few thoughts from the nature walk. First of all, it felt amazing, and I like automatically felt better being out there, and I feel so much better now having taken about a half-hour walk. Next thing, I had breakfast around 10:30, 11, so it was kind of late, and now it is close to 2 o'clock. So I think I'm going to have second meal of the day. I don't know if I'm gonna eat a third meal. I haven't actually been that hungry. I've kind of just been eating. When I taste it, I'm like, oh, I could eat this, and then I eat it, it's delicious, and then I'm like, oh, I'm done. I don't feel like full, I don't feel overextended, I just feel like I'm done eating, and then I'm done eating. And when I eat again, it's not like I'm super hungry or anything like that, because like fat and protein is just, it's really filling, and it can help re-regulate your leptin and ghrelin levels, like your appetite, your satiation. So yeah, I feel very satiated. I haven't felt hungry, but I am worried, like, am I getting enough calories? I guess it doesn't matter if I get enough, as long as I get enough nutrients, but I haven't yet introduced liver yet, so I definitely don't want to skimp on eating because I don't want to feel bad. I want to make sure that I'm getting enough nutrients, but so far I don't think it's been much of a problem. But anyway, so I'm gonna eat my mid-afternoon meal, which is what I like to call nunch, because it's afternoon lunch, but that's just me and my goofy lingo. So I'm gonna make nunch and show you what I'm eating, and then I think that'll be it for this Saturday. Happy kitty. Yes, you are. You gonna beg me for more liver pate later? Yes. You're so cute. Yes. Hey, well, this is my second meal, my nunch. I'm having a bison filet mignon and 2 Spanish quails smothered in butter. So, my boyfriend says that I smell like butter now, which, you know, it's not too bad. I don't mind that. It doesn't smell bad. It smells good. I'm a butter girlfriend, so, you know, I take it as a compliment. Yes, it's kind of a jab to say like, oh, I'm doing the carnivore challenge unlike some people, because I think that you know, there's a lot of publicity out there about people doing the carnivore challenge, but did they actually do it? Are they actually doing it? I am actually doing it, and I actually cooked this pretty good. I'm still learning how to cook meat and stuff, but so far so good. But yeah, I'm actually doing it, so I'm actually gonna show myself eating a little bit. A mini mukbang right here, right now. So good. Now, I've had both of these before, so I already know that this filet mignon is really good. I like bison, but this quail, oh my gosh, the Spanish quail is one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life. Like, you don't understand how much better it is than chicken, let alone like store-bought chicken and stuff like that. Like, this is legit. Oh, it's so good. So I actually made 4 of them because they come in a 4-pack. Link in the description below so that you can order some too. And I'm gonna link both of these actually. I got this from Nebraska Bison, which is a local ranch here in Nebraska, that they sell bison and elk. And then I got these Spanish quails from Frankie's Free Range Meat. So I will link those both in the description below if you want to order your own delicious food, like where I get my food from, where I'm sourcing my food. So also, as I'm eating, I'm just gonna talk briefly about some of the recipe, well, one major recipe that I'm gonna do next week when I reintroduce eggs. Well, I'm not gonna give it away, but we are going to use the bones. I have some leftover bones from the holidays, from chicken, and we're gonna use these quail bones. We're gonna save all of these bones and we're gonna make our own chicken bone broth, because we are going to make a special recipe with that stock. So stay tuned next vlog to find out what that recipe is, because it, you know, I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm not bored of meat and butter yet. I'm 3 days in and actually it's really delicious and I have no complaints. Like, sometime I feel like, you know, especially if you're doing this long term, you might need to be creative and come up with some recipes that that are a little bit more unique, that can bring a little bit different combinations of flavors into your world, that you're like, oh, I forgot that I could do that, because that's carnivore. So I am gonna do one of those recipes next week, so look forward to that. But yeah, we're gonna use the whole animal, or try to use as much as possible, just like our ancestors did, just like my mom did. Like, she would make chicken noodle soup out of like the leftover bones from a rotisserie chicken. So we're gonna do that, but it's gonna be a little bit higher quality because these are pasture raised chickens and quails. So hopefully we're getting a better flavor and nutrient profile out of them when we use the bones. But again, I'm excited for that recipe next week. It's gonna be perfect for a cold winter's night. So just to give you a tip. Hey, it is dinner time on a weekday night. So I'm gonna show you what I'm eating tonight. And it is something of a surf and turf. I have some leftover steak and shrimp, which looks amazing. This is it's a grass-fed Wagyu steak, and actually I didn't mind it at all. Like, it's the only beef that I've eaten that I've been like, I'm okay with this. It's actually, I think it's a really good steak, really good quality, because if I'm just not liking beef overall, and this one is the only one that I've tasted and I'm like, I'm okay with, then, you know, I think that I just kind of have to maybe give up on beef. I still have another one of these steaks. I have like other steaks that I've tried that I didn't like. So I'm probably just gonna give those, either I'll cook them up for Daniel or I give them to a family member, because I don't think I want to eat them. But this steak is actually really good and I don't mind it at all. It's still not my favorite. I definitely prefer lamb, but all being said, like, this is not too bad of a meal. Also, this steak was huge and it made 3 meals. I had it Sunday night, I had Monday night, and now it's Tuesday night, and I'm having it for dinner tonight, and that's pretty amazing. Like, that's not bad. That steak lasted a while. And so then I just cook up a little bit of shrimp with it, and it's delicious surf and turf on a weekday night. So that's not terrible. Also, I went to the dentist on Monday and I don't have any cavities and my teeth look good. And even though I hadn't been to the dentist for a year because I had scheduling conflicts, and then I just kept forgetting to schedule my dentist appointment. So usually I would go every 6 months, but I hadn't gone for a year. And the dental hygienist was actually like, my teeth weren't as bad as she thought. Like, most people's teeth are worse. And I don't do that much extra stuff for my dental care. I should probably do better. So that to me is saying a lot of good things about, you know, my diet, and because I used to get cavities all the time, and this year, no cavities. So, you know, we're doing better than we have been. So I am gonna enjoy my delicious surf and turf dinner and call it good for this evening. And we're almost 1 week, we're almost done. Ugh. So it's been 1 week since I started this carnivore challenge, and I have the good with the bad. And some of the best parts about carnivore, for instance, I lost all of my holiday weight. I started the challenge at 133 pounds, and now I'm at 128 pounds. And so obviously that's mostly all just water weight from mostly the holidays, you know, but it still feels really good to get rid of that. And I don't know, I just feel better. And another thing that I think I already mentioned is just, it's really easy. You know, you just get your meat and you throw it in the oven and then it's done. And it's really easy to make lunches for the week. It's just really easy to prep and eat. And that is one of the major positives. And I don't really have many other issues, except I made a mistake. So, you know, we have to take responsibility for our mistakes. And so I am just gonna be sincere and talk about the mistake that I made jumping into a 30-day carnivore challenge, which I hope that you avoid. And that is, although I've been eating better this year, you know, doing keto and high fat, low carb, December was not my best month of eating. I definitely ate sugar and carbs and drank beer and wine and had birthday cake. Like, December was basically my worst month of eating, and I definitely fell off the wagon. So unfortunately, that did not mean well for like jumping straight into a carnivore challenge. So for instance, like early in 2019 when I went keto, I did it the right way. I eased into it. I started ratcheting down my carbohydrate intake by about 10 grams of carbs per day until I was keto. And then I did strict keto for a couple months and felt amazing. There was just like one day early on when I had like a headache and didn't feel well. So that's pretty good compared to like what other people say when they go keto. My experience was not that bad because I did it in a rational, like a reasonable way. Carnivore, not so much. I had like a couple days of transition where I was eating properly again, but the damage from all of the sugar was already done. So I think I talked about kind of being tired the first few days, and I thought that maybe, you know, that was just a natural transition. But now I realize that I had made a big mistake and that I had a candida overgrowth. So I realized this over the weekend when I had a mass candida die-off and did not feel so great. So what this means is that, I mean, I had very severe symptoms. I had a slight temperature. I was just in the bathroom constantly. It was agony. Like, I did not feel well at all. There was a lot of candida, like a lot. For those that don't know about candida, it is naturally a bacteria in your intestines to help you digest carbohydrates and sugars and such. And in its bacterium state, it's fine. But when it becomes overgrown, it becomes a fungus, and it's essentially a parasite, and it releases toxins when it dies. So you don't want it in your system. It's not good to be in your gut. You want it to die, but you don't want it to die all at once. And that's what it did. Because carnivore diet, you don't eat any carbs, and there's no food for the candida to eat, and so it dies. And it like all died at once for several days. It was not pleasant. It's not an experience that I want other people to go through. So if there's any chance, if you've been drinking alcohol, eating sugar, or anything like that, don't start the carnivore diet, because you could be risking a candida die-off. And yeah, you do want the candida to die off, but you don't want to do it all at once. It puts a lot of pressure on your liver, and it's not a good situation. So what I had to do is I was trying to mitigate it. So I did drink milk Sunday and Monday, but I thought, you know what, it's already too late. Like, it's already dying off, and like the milk probably isn't gonna help that much. Like, I don't even know how much of it they eat, because isn't it another bacteria that eats the milk anyway? So I wasn't too sure on that one. But I was like just trying to alleviate them all dying off all at once, but I think that it was too late at that point. So 2 things that I am doing that aren't like strictly carnivore, because I only take like one other medication. But so I am taking probiotics, and I'm also taking milk thistle supplements. So those are technically not like carnivore. I'm ingesting them. I'm not like eating them, but they are plants. So, well, kind of made up of plants. So it is like the probiotic for my gut microbiome, because I'm not going to be able to get my hands on some kefir for another couple weeks, unfortunately. So I need to start building up a positive gut microbiome. I really can't wait for that. So I'm just taking some probiotics, and then the milk thistle is supposed to help, allegedly, I don't know, but it is supposed to help your liver function. So I'll be taking those for a few days, although I think that most of my symptoms are, you know, starting to get better. The worst of it was like Sunday and Monday when I had a fever, and I actually had to stay home from work on Monday because I felt terrible, and it felt like a stomach bug, you know, but I knew it was candida, because you know it's candida. You can see the candida, and it's gross. It's not a good situation. You don't want candida. Don't do what I did. But, you know, carnivore is good. It's good to get rid of candida. It's good to maintain and keep candida at bay. So I will say that is a positive. Like, this is a nutrient dense, like, healthy diet. If you can't do sugar at all, this is the diet for you, because you can't eat sugar on it. And no candida, no sugar, no candida. You know, maybe I think that they could mutate to eat protein, but I don't think that they can eat fat. I hope not, that they can't mutate or anything. If they start mutating and stuff like that, then you have to do like a whole candida protocol, like coconut oil, all of this stuff. So, you know, we're hoping to avoid that. Maybe, you know, if we still think candida is a problem, we can look at that in February. But hopefully this is resolving itself, because I feel better. I'm getting better every day, and I'm hoping to be back at better energy levels for next week. And along with the milk thistle for liver function, one of the most important things to do for our liver is to eat foods that can promote a healthy liver. And obviously then we need to look at, well, what is the liver made of, and eat the foods that would support that liver function with the vitamins and nutrients that it needs. So that means that we are going to be eating a lot of vitamin A rich foods, and it also then means that we need to take care to supplement vitamin D. And I will also be eating cheese for K2 content this next week, just to make sure that everything is in balance. Yes, cheese, and before we like more formally reintroduce dairy, although I can't say that I had any specific issues with the dairy when I drink it 2 nights in a row, but obviously we're not really gonna know until like I more formally reintroduce it. So no more milk. I'm not doing that for another couple weeks, but yes to vitamin D, vitamin A, and K2. That's what we're gonna do next week. We're gonna focus on the foundational for nutrients to help make everything better, hopefully, you know. Candida is my worst nightmare, but you know, you have to take responsibility for your mistakes, and I don't want to pretend that this challenge is going perfectly. Nothing in life is gonna go perfectly, but you kind of have to take the good with the bad, and you have to learn from your mistakes. And the best thing that I can do is communicate my mistake to other people so that hopefully they don't make the same mistake that I did. And that is the best thing that I think that I can do. But yeah, week 1 is going actually pretty well, and I am more looking forward to week 2 because eggs are amazing. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, hit the little notification bell so you never miss another video from the Fox Hollow. And yeah, catch me next week for my second vlog about eggs and stuff. So